Hey everyone, welcome. Oh man, welcome to the show. Welcome. We are here. We did it! Yay! Woohoo! Hi Nicole. Hey Alexa, welcome. Look at this tacky stuff that I got. Hey TJ, welcome from LA. Welcome. Thank you for being here 5 minutes early. I appreciate it. Oh, now it's 4 minutes early. How do my glasses look? Do they look backwards? Are they? They say 2019 on them. Is it not obvious? I got my Topo Chico here. Welcome. You're a few minutes early. I appreciate that. Yes, this production of Stay Tuned Live is brought to you by Topo Chico. It's really not, but that's what I'm drinking, and so therefore that's who gets to be my sponsor tonight. Oh man. Thank you, Melissa. I guess the question is, can I wear these the entire time? That's the question. Should I wear them the entire time? And then the other question is, should I wear them like this or should I wear them like this? Because this seems to be like it could have some potential to cause some issues. Like this seems, I don't know if I would be able to last an hour doing this, or let alone even like this. This seems like it would be a bad idea as well. So I think I'm gonna stick with this, if that works. That looks okay. Is it too distracting with you guys? I got the colors behind me changing. I got this thing. It's a little crazy. Welcome everybody. Welcome to Stay Tuned Live. Bienvenuti a tutti to the show, everyone. It has been quite the interesting year. Let's see if I can move my. Yeah, that works. Whatever. We'll just keep it like. Whatever. We'll just keep it like this. That's fine. Yes. Welcome. Oh, that keeps moving around on me. Welcome to the show, and this is the second ever Stay Tuned free for all. Oh, good. I'm glad it's not too distracting. So, if you've never been to a Stay Tuned free for all before, guys, this is a fun show where it's all about you. And you guys get to hang out with me. It's all audience participation. I don't have a script I'm going off of tonight. I don't have any cue cards. I don't have anything, whatever, in front of me like that. I'm just kind of flying off the cuff. And we're just going to discuss how the show went this year, how 2018 went, how the animated films of this year went. If you've seen anything that you want to discuss that you really liked or that you really didn't like, this is the place to do it. Just throw your comments up. And if you aren't able to throw your comments up, it's because you're not already a subscriber to this channel or even to YouTube. So go ahead, take a few minutes, make yourself a free YouTube account, subscribe to my channel, and once you do that, you'll be able to comment just like everybody else. It doesn't cost you anything. Artesian Rogue says, Into the Spider-Verse changed it all. And I'm happy to tell you that I went to go see that film with a buddy of mine last night. Yes, you're correct. Into the Spider-Verse is a game changer, and we'll come back to that here in just a moment. But first, I'd like to do a little experiment. I'd like to see which 3 episodes of Stay Tuned got the most views this year. This is the first year Stay Tuned has existed, and there were 31 episodes of the show, not including things like this little stunt I'm pulling tonight. And I'm curious, which episodes did you guys watch the most? And I'm wondering, any guesses at home? What do you guys think the answer is going to be? I'm going to pull it up right now, and I will tell you what the answers are. I'll tell you we'll do top 5. All right, we'll do a countdown of the top 5. So let's see. There's one right there. We're gonna skip that. That's number one. We'll come back to that in a minute. There's number two. There's number three. There's four. There's five. All right, here we go. Number five, the fifth most viewed episode of Stay Tuned this year was number 29 with Carrie Means, my special guest Carrie Means, the voice of Frylock, was number 5 at 40 views. One view above that was my Grinch episode, and as it turns out, I did a little vote on YouTube to see which of my silly videos you guys liked the most this year of my promo spots, and everybody seemed to be leaning, or most people seemed to be leaning towards the Grinch promo. So apparently the Grinch just all around won stuff this year. Show number 3 on the list was Frederick Weidman, my interview with the composer Frederick Weidman, who did the Green Lantern animated series, followed by my interview with Peter Gaffney, and he is a writer who wrote for Real Monsters and Rugrats. And that means we've got 2 interviews and 2 review shows. And the number 1 show viewed this year with the most views so far is Real Monsters. Alexa was correct, coming in at 84 views. Who would have predicted that? I wouldn't have predicted it. I certainly didn't predict it. Welcome to everybody joining up. It is 9:02 here in Austin, and so welcome to Stay Tuned Live. This is the second time I've ever done a free-for-all episode, which means it's all about you guys, all about audience participation. I'll be reading your comments and discussing all those things with you live. TJ says, Monsters is my fave. Oh, that's great. I'm really glad. That's a fantastic series. I don't think it gets enough love, and I'm really glad to hear people like that show. So a moment ago, the Artesian Rogue, I don't know if you want me to say your real name, because I happen to know what your real name is, but until you tell me otherwise, I'm just going to keep saying the Artesian Rogue. The Artesian Rogue said that Into the Spider-Verse was a game changer, and I want to talk about that just a little bit. Alexa says, I did, because it is an awesome episode. Thank you, Alexa. Artesian Rogue said, yes, you can say Mario. It's me, Mario! Oh, very good. Whoop-oo-ah-woo. Anyway, I don't know what that was. I was doing a Mario impression, apparently. Yeah, that was dreadful. Mario? Oh. That's my Luigi impression from Luigi's Mansion. Oh, Mario. Oh. Okay. Anyway, I don't know where I was channeling that from. So, Into the Spider-Verse was an amazing movie. I mean, it is beyond... I haven't done a review on it yet, but I've decided last night it's going to be my first review show of 2019. 2019, these glasses right here. I gotta blow the horn. Whenever I say 2019, that means that horn gets blown. That is a rule I decided right now. That is not a rule that I pre-decided. So I bought the most ridiculous horn I possibly could, and just for the event, and for tomorrow night, of course. And of course, I have my best friend, Black and White Mickey, here to join me this evening. He is very happy to see all of you. This is a large 10-inch Funko Pop that was especially made for Target, and I was very fortunate to get one for Christmas from my sister. And he now joins me in various areas of the house because I don't know where to put him. He doesn't fit very well on a shelf, and because his head is so large and you can see it curves back like this, he doesn't stand on his own. He has to lean up against something. So he's great, but he's very specific on where he can go. Let's see. Awesome horn, but Mickey Mouse is amazing, says Melissa. Yes, I would agree. And if I miss a comment, please forgive me. I'll try to do my best to get to all your comments tonight. But yes, back to Into the Spider-Verse. Oh, and Alexa says I have my Bob Ross from you with me. Oh, well, I'm so glad to hear that, Alexa. Excuse me. Bob Ross as a Pop Funko thing is very fun. I'm glad you like the glasses, TJ. Thank you. These are from Party City. They were a worthwhile purchase, completely worthwhile, and I'm not sure what I'll do with them after the new year is over with, because what do you do with 2019 glasses? I guess I could wear them around all during 2019. That could be the thing. I could definitely be that guy. Or I could take out the electronics and try to do something with that. You know, that could also be a thing. I don't know. Like I'll figure something out. But yeah, Into the Spider-Verse I will do as a review show in early 2019. It is, if not the best, it is one of the best animated films, but one of the best comic book adaptation feeling movies I have ever seen. Probably hands down, like the best comic book adaptation movie, because it feels like if a comic book could turn into an animated thing, that's what it feels like. It takes everything that makes a comic book and puts it into motion, and then some. I mean, like the particle effects alone in that finale are just mind blowing. TJ says he's very proud of me. Thank you, TJ. Much appreciated. I'm very appreciative of anybody who is feeling some kind things about myself and the show. It's been a crazy year. Let's recap a little bit. Back in March, I think it was March, a friend of mine at my old job, she invited me to be a guest on a show she was starting about people from Ohio that were doing creative things, and that was on an app called Station Head. And Station Head is an app that you can get that allows you to make your own little radio station. So she had me on her show, and I had such a good time that immediately when the show was finished, I was like, how do I get my own station? How can I make this happen? I had done radio things in the past, and I was like, I need this to be part of my life. So she put me in touch with somebody who worked at Station Head, and I asked them about a time slot that was available. One of the time slots that was available was Sunday night, and since at that point in time I had a job that ended around 8 or 9, I was like, great, I'll give myself an hour to get off work, and then I'll do my show. That's why the show happens at Sunday night at 9 p.m. Central. That's the reason why. It had to do with my schedule at the time and how it fit in, and I've just never let go of that time slot since, because I don't like the idea of making people have to guess when something is. So to me, it's easier if I'm just like, look, this is the time that it is, and it's always that time, and then you never have to wonder when it is, because it's not going to change. And if you can't make it, then you can watch it later. So to me, that's a perfectly good format, and it hasn't changed. So 1 week after I was a guest on her show, which I don't think is recorded anywhere. I don't think it's anything you can listen to. Unfortunately, it was like you were either there for the event or you weren't for it. The following week, I did my very first Stay Tuned, which I have dubbed show number 0. And it's show number 0 because it's the only one that was never recorded. Or rather, I was told it was recorded by people at Station Head, but I don't have access to it. So the only people that heard that show were the people that were there that night. And a week after that, I talked with some people about the show, and they were like, "Hey, it's really great. We'd like to hear it, but we don't have that time of our day free. Do you think you could record it?" And I was like, "Yeah, I was thinking about doing a recording, and now that you're asking about it, like that kind of encourages me to do recording." And so the following week was my first time doing a recording, and that's what I've dubbed show number 1, which was my show about Mickey Mouse. Which, by the way, if you go to YouTube and you go to my channel, you'll notice that even though I've said there are 31 episodes, there are only 16 available that you can actually watch on YouTube. The reason for that is because those first batch were only made as audio, like radio play for Station Head. They didn't exist in video form. So that's why they're not available on YouTube. Now, something that I'm planning on doing as early as tomorrow, not every show, but just the very first one, the one about Mickey Mouse, I'm working on making a YouTube version of that first show. It's really rough. It was my first one, but I figure, Mickey Mouse had a big year in 2018. So tomorrow I'm going to upload what was my first show that was recorded, all about Mickey Mouse. So you guys who missed it can go back and check it out. Again, it's very different sounding than the new stuff. The new stuff's a lot better. But I think it's cool for posterity to be able to go back and look at things and see how far something has come, right? I think that's pretty cool. The new shows are a lot better. Jenny says, "Hooray!" Oh, I'm glad somebody's excited for old Mickey talking show. Yeah, but anyway, so we've talked a little bit about Into the Spider-Verse. We talked about what the top 5 viewed episodes of Stay Tuned of 2018 were. You guys feel free to put in some of things you're excited about here in the comments. I've got TJ saying, "I'm 3 blocks from Disney Studios. You would love it there, Mickey Mouse." Absolutely, I would love it there. I was actually able to visit Walt Disneyland a couple years ago for the first time. Prior to that, I had only gone to Disney World in Florida, which is bigger, right? There's a lot more to it. But Disneyland is where it started, where it all began, and it was really great to see, like, the original Pirates of the Caribbean and the original Haunted Mansion. So pretty cool stuff. Melissa says, "Me too. Mickey Mouse is my favorite." Yeah, who doesn't love Mickey Mouse, right? Do we have any Oswald fans? Any Oswald the Lucky Rabbit fans? And to that degree, I just got done rewatching. I purchased a copy of the Walt Disney Shorts. I don't know if you guys, either I purchased it or someone gave it to me. I don't remember now. But I have a copy of the Walt Disney Shorts. I think I got it as a birthday gift, possibly maybe from Melissa, but I'm not 100% remembering that. But anyway, yes, you did. See, okay, I just remembered before you said I sent it to you. There you go. I just got done watching that again because I've seen most of those shorts before, and on that disc is a Mickey Mouse cartoon called Get a Horse, which is it's a unique cartoon. It was the one that premiered with when Frozen was in theaters. If you haven't seen it already, it's awesome. It's like a Mickey Mouse old-timey black and white cartoon that goes into, like, from a flat animation into a 3D animation and then back and forth again. And Oswald makes a really brief appearance in it. It's pretty fun. He kind of pokes his head out at the end. That's his first appearance in a Disney cartoon in like 80 years. Ryan says, "My favorite show was the one I watched." The one you watched? You might need to be a little more specific there. Alexa says, "I watched it, but after episode 5, I gave the new She-Ra a chance. I would love to dig into that." Oh, yes, and I still haven't watched the new She-Ra. Oh, anyone you watched. Thank you, Ryan. I appreciate it. Oh, of Stay Tuned. You like any show that you watched of Stay Tuned. Well, I appreciate that very much. Alexa, I promise you, I know I told you this earlier this year, I promise you I'm going to watch She-Ra, and I will probably do a review show for She-Ra. And Mario likes the new She-Ra. Well, that's interesting, because I know, Alexa, you had your reservations with it. Have you changed your opinion? I know Mario seems to like it. I haven't seen any of it. Jenny says, "And Hilda on Netflix." Yeah, I gotta watch Hilda also. That's on my list. I've got like a list of things I'm meaning to get to. TJ says, "I just recently discovered Coco, and I believe it's what is called." Yes, it's interesting. Yeah, Coco was a really beautiful movie. Loved seeing the Day of the Dead stuff in that way, and just a gorgeous film. Really, really beautiful. The series I just finished watching, because it only had one season, I don't know how that happened, was Justice League Action. It was a 2017 cartoon that went into 2018. It had an amazing voice cast. Kevin Conroy, who's the iconic Batman, did return, and Mark Hamill also returned as the Joker, but Mark Hamill also played Swamp Thing, which was really amazing. And if you haven't seen Justice League Action, you can see it on Hulu. It is the best way I can combine it. I can compare it. It feels like a combination of Batman: Brave and the Bold and Justice League, just the Justice League cartoon. Both of those together, because at times it's a little bit serious, and at a lot of times there's some great humor, and the style is not as over the top as Brave and the Bold. It's like, it really does kind of feel like the in-between of those two. It's a great series. There's a lot of Easter eggs. It's just a lot of fun. So if you haven't seen Justice League Action, it's a little. I think it works for anybody. If you're not a huge superhero fan, or if you are a huge superhero fan, they kind of cut right to the chase with every episode. There's action right away. That's what the show is called, and that's what they do. Let's see here. Where's my chat? Mario says, speaking of Coco, the merging of animation styles, especially with Peter Porker and Spider-Man Noir, blew my mind. Even members of Pixar, like Pete Docter, were raving about it on Twitter. Pete Docter was the director of Coco, is why I was reminded of that. Yeah, that is a really excellent point. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is pretty incredible in, like what Mario just said. It combines a lot of animation styles. It does this thing where clearly everything is CG, but you also have these like lines drawn onto the characters and lines that come out of them like they would in a comic book, right? And what's cool about that is I wish I would have seen it in 3D. I bet you in 3D it would be beautiful, but I'm actually glad I saw it in 2D because it's one of the only films that I can say felt like I was watching a 3D movie when I wasn't wearing 3D glasses. It was very strange. Like they were able to create amazing depth without actually having me wear any 3D glasses, which was very impressive. They did it, I believe they did it with depth of field, playing with that and kind of putting things in a weird out of focus perspective when they wanted to direct your attention. But just, it's a beautiful movie. It felt like they were flexing their muscles the whole time. Like never did I feel like, this was a story that got off the rails or they didn't know what they were doing, or I guess the interns must have did this part. Never did I feel like that. It was completely in their control was what it felt like to me. So I was very impressed with all of that. I highly recommend Into the Spider-Verse if you haven't seen it. Let's see. I have a little thing saying welcome to live chat. Remember to guard your privacy and abide by our community guidelines. That's interesting. Why are they welcoming me 20 minutes into what I'm doing? Interesting. TJ says, I don't know, but your hat reminds me of Indiana Jones type. Oh, you mean like a fedora? Yes. Well, the reason I'm wearing this hat, this fedora style hat, is because a viewer of the show requested that I wear my hat, and I figured the only appropriate time really would be in this show because I'm sort of just kind of hanging out with you guys. The hat comes from when I have a character who is a detective, a 1940s film noir detective, and this was the hat that I wore during those films. This is the same hat. This is the prop. It's a character that I would love to bring back someday. I don't know if I will. I would like to. We'll see. But this is exactly that exact hat. Mario says, Blue Sky Studios did a good job with the Charlie Brown movie, mimicking the hand-drawn to 3D art look. But Into the Spider-Verse also pushed that comic book look, as you said, in ways I never thought could be pulled off in the way it was done. Yes, and I'm glad you brought up Blue Sky and that you brought up Charlie Brown. I have not seen the Charlie Brown film. I didn't like the idea of them doing it because I kind of felt like they were cashing in on something that, Charles Schultz isn't around anymore. And I know that that's not a good reason to not see something because there's tons of things that cash in on something that the person who created it's not alive to say yes or no about anymore. I just kind of felt personally tied to that a little bit. But if you're saying it was interesting and worth a watch, I will have to check out Peanuts, the movie. Let's see. Alexa says, by the way, I think 8 people is the most we've ever had. Congrats. Alexa, I've actually had more than 8 people before. It's just the most that you've seen when you've been here. My very first show when I was on Station Head, I had like 18 at once at one point, which was like amazing. That was like the coolest thing. I know 18 is a small number compared to what some people pull in, but it was like for my first show ever, I was thrilled. I think people now, they know that they can watch the show later, and so there's like less incentive for them to be here when it happens. Is there a fluff on my hat? There is a fluff on my hat. A red fluff. I don't know where that came from. Yeah, but I appreciate you guys being here, of course, as it's happening. TJ says, with all your episodes for Stay Tuned, would you ever create a film out of it, or is it easier to keep it as episodes? TJ, I don't understand the question. Create a film out of Stay Tuned? What do you mean by that? Please elaborate your question, TJ. Ryan says, honestly, very little animation right now feels like it is breaking new grounds artistically or technologically. So these are series I'm making on my list to watch. Thanks. Yes, absolutely, Ryan. I agree. There's not a lot of things that feel like they're breaking ground, but I will say that Into the Spider-Verse absolutely breaks ground. To a degree, I felt like the Lego Movie broke ground. I don't know if anybody saw the Lego Movie or gives the Lego Movie any credit, but I think that movie came at a time where people weren't expecting it. They're doing this thing in certain shows where they're mimicking stop motion animation, right? We've seen it with the Lego Movie, which is not stop motion. We've seen it with The Dragon Prince, which is not stop motion, but CG, and they mess with the frame rate. And by the way, watching Into the Spider-Verse makes the Dragon Prince animation look stupid. Not to knock their efforts, but their efforts to make it look like stop motion on the Dragon Prince arguably was frustrating to watch. It had some amazing action sequences, but Into the Spider-Verse blew that out of the water. I would prefer, if you can't get that look correct, that you just don't bother doing it. Just make it CG and be done with it. Mario says, I agree with you, Ryan. Every once in a while, there are some indie animation efforts that do some great experimental things. I know a lot of Leica's stop motion animation effects do with the aid of CG. Yeah, CG is a great tool. If you haven't seen Pirates, Band of Misfits, which is by Peter Lord and company, that's a beautiful example of how stop motion and actual stop motion film with the aid of CG can be a really powerful combination. And speaking of Leica, has anybody seen the preview for Missing Link? And if you did see that preview, what did you think of it? And if you didn't see that preview, add that preview to your list because it comes out, I believe, in February. So that's the next the next stop motion film from Leica is about the missing link, the monkey man who supposedly links humanity to ape or chimp or however you care to phrase that. Mario says, yes, LOL, and because cryptozoology is a weird obsession of mine, I'm super stoked. I'm stoked as well, Mario, but I gotta say, a little of the humor of that trailer was a little bit lost on me. Like, I wanted to laugh, and I was amused by the trailer, but I wasn't, like, laughing at it like I wanted to. But visually, it looks like it'll be a beautiful film to look at, and I think John just chimed in saying that amazing cast. Yeah, amazing cast, absolutely. TJ says, I'm trying to figure out how to ask. I'll think about it. Next question is, your special guest you have had, how did that come about? Excellent question, TJ. I knew I wanted to have special guests on the show. I've always loved interview shows. I think a lot of interview shows don't ask the questions that I wish were asked. I always feel like they're fluff pieces and they ask fluffy questions. I don't really care about fluffy questions. I want to know, like, the cool stuff. The stuff that when I'm watching that person's film, what am I thinking about in my head, right? So I try to ask those questions. So I didn't have a ton of access to people in the celebrity world at the time. Not a lot of favors I could call in. And so, hey, Phantom, you want to come up here? Come on, buddy. Come on. Attaboy. All right, so Phantom's joining us now. Phantom's here officially. The live stream party can begin. Woohoo! He was not worried about my glasses or hat, apparently. Anyway, so I called in a favor with a friend who is friends with Max Cook, who is the current personality voice of Chester Cheetah, and then also that same friend knew Dave Finkel, one of the writers from Pinky and the Brain. So I sort of, I called in a favor with those two first guests. And once I did those first guests, Alexa says, hi, Phantom. Hi, Phantom. That's what Alexa says. With those first two guests, I started reaching out to additional people. and I said, "Hey, I had these two guests on my show recently. I would like you to be next." So I've just been building off of that ever since, and a lot of it is, again, it's shared networking. So once I have a connection to one person, I've just kind of been saying, "Hey, oh, who else do you know? You know this person? Great. Let's see if I can talk to that person." And I mean, that's the name of the game. I don't have a lot of clout in Hollywood otherwise, so now it's just a matter of a string of this person also knows me kind of thing. Look at this guy getting those face rubs, huh? Look at this guy getting those face rubs. Oh man. Melissa says hi, Phantom. Mel says hi, Phantom. Yeah, very good. So yeah, so cool stuff coming from cool stuff coming from Warner Brothers. They're doing a second uh, Lego movie, the second part. Although I guess if you're being technical, they also had Lego Batman, and they also had Ninjago, of which I did not see. I don't know if Ninjago was any good. Um, Lego Batman was good. I wanted to like it more than I did, but it felt like just as good as the Lego movie. Although, if I had to pick one, I think the Lego movie story might have been a little bit better. Um, just my personal preference. Nothing against Lego Batman, of course. I'm getting hair all over my face, by the way. Thank you so much, Phantom. Whatever would I have done without your mysterious white fluff going up my nostrils? Uh, and then have you guys been seeing the trailers, the multiple trailers they've been doing for if you're just tuning in, I'm holding a cattail right here. Isn't that great? Look at this mustache I have. Um, Alexa says I'm excited for the new Lego movie. Yes, awesome. The Secret Life of Pets 2 has been getting multiple trailers. They've been doing a trailer for each of their main characters, which is a really clever way to do it because that means when you go to the theater the next time, you see a different trailer. It's clever. It's far more clever than the other trend that happened this year, which was the announcement of the trailer. In 2 days there'll be a trailer, or here's the I don't know. They've been doing a weird thing where they've been making trailers out to be an event, which okay, what are you gonna do about that? Mario says Ninjago wasn't bad. It felt a lot like of a retread plot and story wise in regards to the other basic stories. It had its funny moments, but also ignored the TV series canon in a light reboot way. Well, that's really good to know because I've never seen the TV series, so I appreciate that, Mario. That's actually very insightful. That they would kind of feel like they have to change things, although that does happen. Is anybody else confused, by the way, about Detective Pikachu? I'm not against it, but I mean, what? Was anybody else confused by that? Again, I'm not hating on it. I'm excited for a Pokemon film. It's long overdue. But what? What on earth? Like, who? And Ryan Reynolds is Pikachu's voice? Was this a dare? What? I mean, what? I don't even know. Ryan says it started as a video game. Are you saying that the detective series started as a video game? Because I think that's what I saw once. Mario says it has me feeling Super Mario Brothers the movie all over again. Oh no, Mario. Jenny says I bought Ryan the video game Detective Pikachu for Christmas. Well, how was the video game? Is it good? It seems like a really bizarre pairing. It almost feels like they wanted to combine Pokemon with Professor Layton. I haven't played Detective Pikachu, but Professor Layton is a detective series. If you haven't played those games, they're really wonderful games. And by the way, there is a Professor Layton animated movie which I happen to own a copy of, and I've thought about doing a review of it because I really love Professor Layton. Ryan says so. The video game is very interesting. Oh, well, that bodes well, and I'm so glad it was interesting enough for them to make a movie out of. Ryan says I feel like it's designed for a younger audience. Yeah, well, there's definitely. Have you noticed that Pokemon seems to sort of like have this gamut? They've got their games they make for the kiddos, and they've got the other stuff they make for everybody else. Mario says Professor Layton deserves a Netflix series, and I did not know there was a movie. And yes, there was Mario. And Ryan says, and the movie feels like it's for an older audience. Yes, it does. Very strange. Well, Mario, once I get this cat off my lap, because you can't see it, but there's a phantom sitting on my lap, and I don't mean a ghost. Although that would be an interesting situation because, like, would you feel your lap feel like pressure on it? Anyway, I'll go grab my copy of Professor Layton here in just a moment to show you the cover of it. Jenny says, and the voice of Pikachu in the video game, which came out in March, has that film. What do you mean by that? Not sure what that sentence means, but interesting. Hey, if you're just joining us right now, welcome. Welcome to my end of the year party where it's all audience participation. So feel free to chat and I will read your chat and you can be part of the conversation. And if you want to be part of the conversation but are not part of it, that's because you have to subscribe to my channel. Film noir feel, says Jenny. It's got a film noir feel. Okay, well, I mean, I'm okay with that, clearly, with the hat. Let me go grab my copy of Professor Layton really quick. I'll be right back. Don't go anywhere, everybody. I'll be right back. I'm just going to grab this film. Talk amongst yourselves. All right, I'm going to grab some other stuff, too. Okay. So I just went over to my video library. These glasses are really not helping me see things. I'm just going to be honest. They're not helping me see anything. Oh, I'm sorry. Well, goodness gracious. The tick just fell over. I'm so sorry, tick. Spoon! Oh, I'm dropping things on my other side now. What is happening? Oh, no. Oh, well, that's what makes this a live event, everyone. Oh, I've lost my hat as well. Oh, I suppose I better get something to drink. Goodness gracious. Oh, man. All right. I feel like I'm selling cars or like life insurance or something. Does anyone else get that vibe? All right. So, as promised, Professor Layton and the Eternal Diva on DVD. This is it's a very good movie. I've only watched it the one time. I'm gonna watch it again soon, but it's long. It's a little bit longer than it should be. I don't mean that like it feels longer than it should be. It's 90 minutes, but it feels longer than 90 minutes. And it's because it has a couple of like false endings, you know, where they end the film and then they're like, just kidding, it's not over yet. I have a love-hate relationship with those kinds of movies because I'm like, you told me it was over and now it's not? Okay. Oh, I missed some comments. Let's see. Jenny says, I have a baby hitting return before the comment is finished typing. Oh, dear. Mario says, how hilarious would it be if Phantom had gotten in the camera view? Yes. TJ says, question, your show's intro. You had Peter Pan and Beetlejuice. Are you fans of them, and how did you go about choosing what clips to use? Sorry, just very interested. No need to apologize. I love that question. I love my show intro. Yes, I picked things that, to me, they mean a lot to me. So Peter Pan means a lot to me. You can see Mickey Mouse right over there. He means a lot to me, too. Peter Pan means a lot to me. But that little bit of audio where he's like, come on, everybody, here we go. That's always been like such an iconic thing. You hear it and you just know what it is, and it takes you away. It takes you to a place. I love when film does that. I love when a moment of film becomes so perfect in your mind that it just like it is perfectly perfectly encapsulating what you think that thing should be. I love when that happens. It's a hard thing to capture, and I think when a film does it, you know that it does it because that's the moment that you just, whenever you see it, you get goosebumps, right? So that's a goosebumps kind of a moment. The introduction animation to Beetlejuice the Animated Series, which is a show that I watched a lot growing up. I love that intro so much. It's one of the only, and they had a couple different intros, but there's one intro in particular. It's one of the only show intros where I feel like, man, you were getting ready to go on a crazy ride, right? And that's what that show was. I mean, the show wasn't as crazy all the time as the intro would, but I felt like the ambiance of Beetlejuice, what Beetlejuice is, that intro captured so perfectly. And I would love for them to go back and make something like crazily animated with Beetlejuice and just be a crazy ride. So yeah, I captured things that I like a lot. The other parts of the intro, I'm a big fan of Daffy Duck. I love the duck season, wabbit season stuff. The Bimbo's Initiation, which is a lot of what that black and white stuff is. That's just like a great cartoon. It's super wacky animation. It's back to a time when Betty Boop was still part dog. So it's a really interesting time in animation. And then there's also a bit of that intro that has Porky Pig when he visits Wacky Land. I've always loved that cartoon. And that's where they introduced the Dodo character, which is a character that never came back again, but he kind of got reincarnated in the form of Daffy Duck, Daffy's original like woohoo woohoo version. So that's why I picked those things, and I also picked things that I thought were musically really good. There's a small little bit in there with Red Hot Riding Hood, a Tex Avery cartoon. I love that cartoon. I mean, the wolf antics, howling at Red Hot Riding Hood. It's just such a funny moment, and everyone kind of knows it. It even got used in The Mask, which is like a great movie for obvious reasons. Anyway, that's why I used that combination of elements. I did have other things I was going to use in the intro that musically I couldn't find a way for them to work. Most memorable for me right now that I'm able to recall was Who Framed Roger Rabbit. So I was going to have some of that in there, and I wasn't able to make it work. Let's see, where are we? Kara says, "Hi there, just joining. I've been busy getting my Bandersnatch on." Yes, that's a Black Mirror thing on Netflix. I've not seen that yet. And is it good? And Mario says, "OMG, that is cool." Mario, are you referring to the Bandersnatch, or are you referring to something else that is cool? Because are you referring to the video that I held up? I'm gonna hold up some other stuff. This is some stuff that I would like. Kara says Bandersnatch, yeah. Oh, the DVD, yes, yeah. The Professor Layton, right? Look at that, good stuff, right? So if you can find this DVD, find it. It even says inspired by the hit games on Nintendo DS, because if you didn't have that on there, you would have never picked it up. I don't know what they're thinking that they're causing with that. So I'm going to show you guys. I had a couple anime, and there was a request for anime earlier this year. Someone had asked me if I'm going to be reviewing anime, and I will at some point. I want to review Cowboy Bebop because that's like one that's very near and dear to my heart. Pokemon, I wouldn't know where to begin. But there were a couple anime series that I saw as a kid that left a real big impression on me. One of which I don't have on my shelf, and it would be a crazy ride to go back and watch it again. And that would be now I'm forgetting the name of it. What was it called? BattleTech it was like a mech warrior thing. Somebody help me out with this. It was some kind of a mech warrior. Oh man, I had it. I just had it, and then I forgot what it was called. Well, anyway, it was an '80s Japanese anime mech. Yeah, lots of mech. Robotech. Thank you. Yes, thank you, Mario. So I watched Robotech as a kid. I didn't know what I was watching. Super confusing. Come to find out years later that it was super confusing. Well, first of all, I was like 8. But second of all, it was confusing because they didn't properly transfer it over to the U.S. I think they brought it over in like segments, and they also like didn't translate it properly, and they aired it out of order. So I'm like, well, I wouldn't have gotten it anyway. But so that would be Robotech would be a great series to go back and watch. I would love that. Voltron would be awesome. I have not seen the new one. It is on my wish list. But here is an anime that like I grew up watching and loving so much, and you guys probably have never heard of it, but maybe you have. And it's called Unico and the Island of Magic. Does anybody know Unico? It's a Sanrio product. Has anybody ever seen Unico? Anyone at all? Anyone recognize any of this stuff? Anyone? Well, anyway, this is a wonderful movie. It's delightfully weird. Pretty sure the translation is not correct, but I've loved this film since I was a kid, and I absolutely want to review this version. I don't know if I can get the non-English version because the English version's the only one I've ever known. But I definitely want to do that. And then I've also got the Fantastic Adventures of Unico. So there's some more Unico for you. Want to see some more Unico? Weird stuff from Sanrio. That's on my list of things I want to review. And let me see what else I've got in the chat room. Mario says, yeah, I remembered that from when we first met back in like 2010 in Chicago. You and I bonded over that and Jurassic Park. Yeah, we talked about Robotech in 2010. Holy cow, like Robotech must have left a real impression on me. I don't remember ever bringing it up. TJ says, so when you're watching animation cartoons, did you watch Tom and Jerry, Bonkers, Tailspin, Rescue Rangers, or are you just into specific cartoons? Growing up, I didn't watch Mickey Mouse. TJ, I watched all of those things you listed. I watched pretty much anything animated. I even went ahead and watched Ghostbusters. And no, I don't mean the real Ghostbusters, although I did watch that. I mean Filmation's Ghostbusters. Filmation is a cartoon company people don't really know much about, or the average person doesn't know much about. But that was a really weird cartoon based on an old live-action film where there was a character named Tracy the Gorilla, and it wasn't about the Ghostbusters that you know and love. It was about a different, like a comedy thing from back in the day, and they made a cartoon, and supposedly they made the cartoons at the same time, which is why they named the real Ghostbusters the real Ghostbusters, because they were the real ones. They weren't the ones that you were seeing opposing that. One moment, I'm getting a text message from my sister wanting to know where the YouTube show is happening. So I'm going to give her the link. Give me just a moment to do that. Talk amongst yourselves. I'll give you a topic. Driveways are, you don't drive on a driveway, you park on them, and you park in a driveway. Discuss. Okay. All right. Alexa says, I know Filmation. They made She-Ra and He-Man. Yes, they did. Good job, Alexa. Jenny says, you need to Japan Masters of Anime series, specifically Miyazaki. Well, yes. Jenny, on my list of cartoons that I'd like to review is Spirited Away, because Spirited Away remains my favorite of the Miyazaki films. I have not seen all of them, but I have seen a good number of them, and Spirited Away has always been my favorite one. Although Tales of, or is it Nausicaa? Yeah, if I'm saying it right. I really liked that one a lot because it had giant bugs. I like giant bugs. Just they got points for me on that alone. Something else I'd like to go and review at some point. Oh, you have nearly all of them, Jenny? Well, that's quite impressive. I have like 3 or 4. I have Totoro, I have Howl's Moving Castle, and Spirited Away, and I think that might be it. I have to double check. It's bad when I don't know what I have. But this is something I want to review in the new year as well, if I can. This was a series I also grew up with and loved very much. It's a little bit before my time because it was made, I think, in the 70s. But I grew up with it, and it is Paddington Bear. You guys know Paddington Bear? This is a stop-motion shorts series that they did where Paddington was this little stop-motion bear, and he was adorable. And TJ says, OMG, yes, 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 with the Paddington. So, that was a big influence on me growing up. Stop-motion was a heavy influence on me as a kid. Specifically, like the Tales of Sinbad, which are live-action movies where they did stop-motion special effects. And I'm also a huge fan of Jason and the Argonauts, where there was a lot of stop motion in that one with like the skeletons, crazy skeletons. Alexa says, "Oh, giant bugs reminded me of the Dark Crystal. That would be a cool to talk about." Yes, although Dark Crystal is puppetry, and while I love puppetry, it would not fit on Stay Tuned, unfortunately. But they are making a Dark Crystal series for Netflix, which is a strange thing. Harryhausen for the win on those, says Mario. I agree. Ray Harryhausen, absolutely inspirational to, I think, anybody who's interested in animation. Absolutely. Jenny says Kiki's Delivery Service. Porco Rosso, Castle in the Sky, and of course Mononoke. You know, I'm embarrassed to say that of the ones you just listed, I've only seen Mononoke. I'm sorry. I know I need to see all the rest of them. I just haven't done it. Melissa says, "Love the Bear in the Raincoat." The Bear in the Raincoat. That would be Paddington Bear. Mel, Paddington Bear is who that is. Um, and I'm gonna, for those of you who didn't get to see Mickey earlier, here's my giant Mickey that my sister got me for Christmas. He's joining me tonight. He's hanging out here. I'm very excited because Mickey Mouse gets his first ever theme park ride coming very soon. Can you believe he's never had a theme park ride? Like, what? Kara says, too cute. He is too cute. He's huge. In fact, let me give you an example of how big he is. You guys know how big the Tick is. He's a massive superhero, but compared to black and white Mickey, he is not. He is not big at all. Hi, Phantom. I know I'm talking a whole bunch tonight, aren't I? Oh, man. I also have... You want to come say hi to everybody again? Come here. You don't get a choice in the matter. Phantom says hi, everyone. Oh, man. This is Phantom, and he says hi to everyone out there right now. Yep, he's like, put me down, Dad. This is really awful. I know. Sorry, pal. Oh, boy. Hi, Phantom, says Amanda. Hi. Whoa. Look at all the people out there, Phantom. Look, they came to see you tonight. Oh, my goodness. All right, I'll put you down. I'm sorry. All right. TJ says, so your episodes on YouTube, any chance they will get DVDs? I'd love to get them signed. Holy cow, TJ. I don't know. I've never thought about that before. I don't own the rights to any of the stuff that I'm discussing, so I probably shouldn't sell any of that. But if you want to support the show, this is a good time to bring that up. Please head over to patreon.com/Phil Machi, and you guys can support the show. That is how that's how I'm keeping my lights on, is from support right now. So I might be able to find another way to do it in the future with like funding. But until that happens, it's like Wikipedia. Wikipedia survives because people, support it. So if you can, please do. And once you do, you get access to all the podcasts as well. Something you guys might not realize is the podcast version of the show is a little bit different than the show you see on YouTube. Those of you who are watching right now who are already subscribed know what I'm talking about, because I have I have music that comes into play. I have edited audio that's a lot like cleaner audio. So it's a nice way to enjoy the show in the best sound possible. Anyway, and also thank you to my Rubber Hose subscribers. I thank you guys every time I do a show. So before I forget, thank you to Ryan Shaver, Ronita Davis, and Diana A. for being Rubber Hose subscribers. You can find out more about that at patreon.com/Phil Machi. Alexa says, hey, just a topic. I was wondering what your list of things to review included. Oh. Kara says, hey, big guy. And Jenny says, I am offended. Unsubscribe or come over and watch them with Bishop. He loves Mary and the Witch's Flower, which was made by Miyazaki's protege. Yes, I know about Mary and the Witch's Flower. I have not seen that yet. I know, I'm sorry. There's things I haven't seen. It's amazing that there's things I haven't watched before. But I'll get to it all eventually. So yeah, those are the things I'm planning on reviewing. My first show of 2019 is going to be an interview with Lolita Ritmanis. And she is an Emmy-winning composer who did music for shows like The Killing Joke and Batman Beyond and Superman the Animated Series and Batman the Animated Series and Young Justice. And then Young Justice is coming back for a third season on January 4th. So I will eventually be reviewing that show. That's going to be on the DC Universe streaming service only. And let's see here. What else? Probably going to be reviewing the third installment of How to Train Your Dragon, which comes out in February, I think. They bumped it. I'm pretty sure it was going to be March at one point, and then they bumped it to February, if I'm not mistaken. It's coming up real soon. So, yeah, those are all the things I want to review in the beginning part of the year. we'll see what happens in the rest of the year. I've been reaching out to more and more celebrity voice actors, and hopefully I can get some yeses from those people. I'm in talks right now with some other composers. It's pretty cool to have composers on the show because, Stay Tuned is mainly based around a podcast, and music is also audio. So I like having composers on the show. But I am going to try to get some voice actors and other people. It's just a matter of them saying yes. So I did reach out to a lot of people this year, and I got a decent number of people to be guests on the show. Some of them I still talk to. It's very strange. After the interview was over with, we just kind of like kept in touch. So, it was really nice to be able to do that. And I've got some friendships that came out of it. It's been a really interesting year. I did not know this was going to happen. I didn't know I was going to be quitting my job with Apple. That wasn't the plan at the beginning of 2018. It happened very suddenly, right around March, April area. It was building up to that for years. I recently finished a brand new Retail Sunshine comic strip. I hadn't done one of those in over a year. If you'd like to see that comic strip, you can head over to my Instagram account, which is just Phil Machi on Instagram. It's like one of the most recent posts. Check that out. And I will be doing more with Retail Sunshine in the new year. One of the things I did already was this canvas print right there, the 16 by 20 canvas. So I plan on doing more of that kind of thing as well in the future. And that's part of what's on my radar for 2019. So yeah, more celebrity interviews, more reviews. The show's not going away, guys. It's here to stay. I'm hoping to make it bigger in whatever way I possibly can. As of right now, the financial support is how it survives as far as all of that going. So anything you can do is appreciated. If it means you just share this video with a friend, great. If it means you give it a like, great. If it means you go back and watch all the other videos on this channel, great. Because as it turns out, that all counts too. So thank you for all of your support. Before we close up, I just want to make sure I take time to thank everybody. Thank you so much, everyone, for making this year, being supportive. And I know there was probably a lot of raised eyebrows and confused looks on your faces when I said I was leaving Apple to go do a show on a radio station and then switch that show to to YouTube. Oh, you're right. I did say 2019. You're right. You're right. Whenever I say that year, I have to blow my horn. I have not been paying attention to that. So here's a couple more sound effects for you. All right, look at that little New Year thing. Thank you again, everybody, for making this year so awesome and helping me feel supported in this decision. Really, everything you do, it does not go unnoticed, and it all helps. Because it is, some days are challenging. I will be very honest with you. And sometimes people get tired. This person sometimes gets tired. So, it definitely is rejuvenational to have people tell me that they're enjoying what's being produced. So thank you for that. Anyway, let's get back to your comments. I went away from that for just a little bit. Let's see. Mel says February 22nd is when How to Train Your Dragon comes out. Thank you for that. Yeah, and I'm pretty sure they moved up from March. Kara says, you're awesome, Phil. On the right path. Thank you, Kara. That means a lot. Mario says, I have a feeling when I see How to Train Your Dragon 3, I will need a box of Kleenex in that theater. I got teary at the new version of Tom Petty's Learning to Fly done by the musicians Hill by Hill. Okay, I didn't know about that. But yeah, it looks like it's going to be that. Alexa says, bye. Thank you as well for doing the show. Thank you, Alexa, for being here. Jenny says, Rooster Teeth is based in Austin, and they have, yes, RWBW, or BY, which has become a cult favorite. Yes, and I know some people who know Rooster Teeth, and I may be talking with Rooster Teeth very soon. Oh, okay, the song in the trailer. Yeah, I think this is going to be a really tearful third installment. I will also tell you that the TV series of How to Train Your Dragon is surprisingly good. Is it as good as the movie? No, not necessarily, but it's surprisingly good if you haven't seen it. Virgilio says, I will 2018, you miss 2018 too, right? Will I miss 2018, Virgilio? Well, let me tell you, it was a good year for me. It wasn't an easy year. None of this was easy. I'm aware that maybe I'm making it look that way, but it's not easy. And I'm not telling you this to complain, but I'm telling you this to let you know that there's a lot of thought that goes into every show. So and this project has allowed me to grow in ways I did not know I was going to be growing. I enjoy creative writing. I enjoy analytical thought. I didn't know I'd be doing this much of it in the span of a year, so that's been really interesting. And I didn't know that I would be, talking with people that I look up to on a regular basis and having to ask them insightful questions and then editing. Editing is such a thing that if you haven't done it, my gosh, it is crazy. So I will miss 2018 for the amazing possibilities it opened up, but I will not miss how hard it was. I'm hoping that 2019 is maybe a little bit like I get to start seeing some more of the benefits of the actions of 2018. That would be really great. And you agree, apparently. Thank you. I appreciate that. Alexa says it was hard but good this year. Thank you. Yes, I agree. Ryan said, I am interested in what 2019 holds given everything that has happened in 2018. Yes, most of which does not necessarily have consequences or effects that I have seen yet. Yeah, I know, Ryan, you've had a crazy year too. I mean, yes, I would like to see 2019 be a year of we get to reap what we sow in a good way, Jenny says, what are we going to do for the Stay Tuned first birthday? That's a great question. I've been wondering that myself. I'm open to suggestions. If you guys want to start sending me suggestions on Facebook or whatever, the first anniversary of Stay Tuned is going to be April 15th. If you're wondering, if you want to put that on your calendar, April 15th. And if you're just joining us right now, you're coming in by the end of the show. This is insane. Thank you for being here so late. Of course, you can go back and watch this episode when I upload it. Thank you for being here at all. I appreciate it. So for the first anniversary of Stay Tuned, which is going to be on April 15th, that's going to be an interesting one. I don't know what we're going to do. The one thing I've thought about is maybe doing something on location somewhere, taking my gear and like doing a show live somewhere, which could be fun, right? The only problem with that is I have to have good Wi-Fi. And when you don't have good Wi-Fi, it makes the quality very choppy. So it sounds like a great idea to do it on location, but is it? So, can you hear me anymore? Uh-oh. Someone says TJ says I got connections for you. Looks like my video just froze. All right, bye, Kara. Have a good night. Looks like my video connection froze. Do a mega episode for the birthday. You can still hear me. Oh, good. All right. Well, good. You can still hear me. I can't see anything, but you know what? It's 9:59 and we started 5 minutes early. I'm going to call it here. Thanks so much, everybody, for being here. I appreciate it so much. I'll upload this video. Best of luck to everybody in the new year. Thank you very, very much. Yes, the internet heard me and wanted to be spiteful. Have a great night, guys. Thanks so much for being here. Thanks for a great 2018. See you in 2019!